A full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Shildt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres postgame show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
One pitch kind of served into shallow center field. Marsh is charging, dives forward, can't make the catch, and it gets behind him. Azokar and Machado have scored. Kim is on his way. Higashioka into third with a 3-run hit, and the Padres lead it 5-1 here in the eighth.
The Padres win it on this Wednesday in America's finest city as they salvage the finale of this 3-game series in Philadelphia, the finale of this 6-game road trip. The final score, the Padres 5 and the Phillies 2. Padres improved to 38-40 with the win. Phillies dropped to 49-25. The Padres snapped their 5-game losing skid. They snap a 9-game losing skid on the road. A very nice win, 5-2 over the Phillies to salvage the finale of this series. And now the Padres will hop on what will be a happy flight, head back home, the start of a 7-game homestand tomorrow in downtown San Diego. Sam Levitt with you on our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network. We have a lot to do. We'll go back to Philly, hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We have all the radio highlights for you, recap this game from start to finish, look at the out-of-town scoreboard, get you involved as well, and much, much more to come. 5 runs on 12 hits for the Padres in this game, and they did a really nice job offensively against, left-hander Ranger Suarez. He was as advertised. 6 innings, 1 run given up. The lone run he gave up, a solo home run to Jackson Merrill that came all the way back in the 2nd inning. Bryce Harper later in the game against Matt Waldron would tie the game at 1. It stayed that way until the 7th inning. We'll get into what happened in the late innings in just a moment, but we said it pregame. One of the keys today for the Padres, they desperately needed a big-time start from a guy who has been a big-time starting pitcher over the last couple of months, and that is Matt Waldron. And Matt Waldron walked into Philadelphia today against that powerful Phillies lineup, and he continues to be terrific. Matt Waldron today, 7 innings, 1 run given up. The lone run he gave up was on the home run to Harper, who had 2 solo home runs in this game. 5 hits total, walked 2, struck out 6 on 104 pitches. And maybe most importantly, once the Padres got the lead in the top of the 7th inning, what did Matt Waldron come out and do in the bottom half of the 7th? A 1-2-3 shutdown inning. Matt Waldron continues to be just marvelous. We'll get more into his numbers the last 8 starts, but you could make an argument right now that over the course of 2024, and who would have imagined saying this at the start of spring training, at the start of this season, you can make the argument Matt Waldron has been this team's best starting pitcher the first half of this season, and as of late has been the most reliable starting pitcher this team has had the first half of this season. You are now at the point with Matt Waldron where you are not surprised with the success. You are not surprised by him going out there on the road on a hot afternoon on the East Coast and putting together 7 brilliant innings against a great Phillies lineup. That's where the story begins here today. Matt Waldron, on a day where the Padres desperately needed a big-time start, he delivered it. Remember, the Padres starting pitching entering this game had not been great the last 4 days. Nobody had gone 5 complete innings the last 4 days. But staring an 0-6 road trip in the face, staring a 6-game losing streak in the face, Matt Waldron took the baseball today and was tremendous. The story starts there about this 5-2 win. The other part of this game you really like, the Padres taking advantage of opportunities late in the game. Look, Ranger Suarez, he was pretty much as advertised in this game. He's been arguably the best pitcher in baseball this season. Came into today, lowest ERA in the major leagues, lowest whip in the major leagues. He has been sensational. Gave up the home run to Merrill. Another great swing against the lefty for him. We'll get more into him a little bit later as well. But aside from that, Suarez was Ranger Suarez. 6 innings, 1 run given up, and he left the game with the score still tied at 1. We talked pregame in our What to Watch For segment, and you know me, when I get something right in our What to Watch For segment, I will point it out. Postgame. But we talked about Luis Ariz, right? Having an impact today. It's been a quieter last 9 games or so for Ariz. Well, in that 7th inning, with Phillies reliever Orion Kerkering on the mound, he comes to the plate in a tie game. Go-ahead run on third base. Luis Ariz, an RBI single, his second hit of the day, gave the Padres a 2-1 lead. And then the Padres got some luck in that 8th inning, right? But they took advantage of their opportunities with a 2-1 lead, and they needed the insurance. It proved out that way with Harper hitting the home run a little bit later. But you look at Profar, a leadoff single in the 8th inning. Padres really needing insurance here. Leadoff single in the 8th inning. Then Manny Machado hustling down the line to first base, beats out what becomes an infield single. That's a big moment in that 8th inning. And then Ha-Seong Kim reaching on the error by Alec Boehm. With 2 outs in the inning, Kyle Higashioka doesn't do anything fancy. A little flare into center, bloops in. Marsh can't get it on the slide, rolls behind him, turns into a bases-clearing triple. It goes from a 2-1 Padre lead to a 5-1 Padre lead, and they needed the insurance because Bryce Harper hit a solo home run in the bottom half of the 8th inning. I mean, let's live in a world for a second. If Higashioka makes the final out of the inning there, it's a 2-1 game. Guess what? We still might be playing because it's a 2-2 game after the Harper home run. So the Padres took advantage, got a little luck in the 8th inning, well-placed, a little flare off the bat of Higashioka, and they end up winning this game by a final score of 5-2. So, look, was it a great road trip? Obviously not. You don't want to go 1-5, but I'll tell you what, 1-5 feels a lot better than 0-6, and you feel better coming home. Hopefully the Padres can take what they did today, continue it momentum-wise here at home. We'll see if they can do that. The Brewers coming to town for the start of a 4-game series tomorrow. Much more to do on our post-game coverage. When we come back, we have all the radio highlights for you. We'll recap this game in its entirety. We'll also hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt as the Padres win the final game of this 3-game set in Philly. Padres 5, Phillies 2. More post-game after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Really nice win for the Padres as they beat the Philadelphia Phillies 5-2. Padres salvaged the finale of this three-game set. They're 38-40 on the season. Phillies will have to wait a couple more days to pick up their 50th win of the year, at least a couple more days, as they drop to 49-25. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll recap this game from start to finish in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. A lot of good stuff to recap for you. And we'll go back to Philadelphia here from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit as well. So a lot to do as we wrap this one up. Padres getting what you feel like was a much-needed win over the Phillies here today. You didn't want to go 0-6 on this road trip. It had been a while since the Padres went winless on a road trip of 6 or more games, and the Padres did not do that. A 1-5 trip, but hey, like I said in the opening segment, you feel a whole lot better about 1-5 than you do 0-6. It sounds a little silly, but you really do. You just feel better coming back home, and now hopefully you start a winning streak at home. We'll see if the Padres can continue the momentum tomorrow at Petco Park as they begin a 4-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's recap this one, how it went down in Philly.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
We had a great starting pitching matchup today between Matt Waldron and Ranger Suarez. Both put up scoreless frames to start the game, although Waldron had to battle out of a bases-loaded jam in the bottom half of the first inning. In the top of the second, Jackson Merrill put the Padres ahead.
This one hit in the air to right field, straight away and deep. Castellanos is back at the wall. He's looking up, gonna go! Home run, Jackson Merrill. Got him in the air again, and this is home run number 8 for the Padres center fielder. Odds take a 1-0 lead here in the second.
The score stayed 1-0 until the bottom half of the third. There were 2 outs and nobody on for Bryce Harper.
Here's Bryce Harper with 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the third. Swings to the first pitch, sends it in the air to left field and deep. Profar's back to the wall. He will watch, it will go. Home run, Bryce Harper, and a 1-1 game here in the third inning.
The score stayed tied 1-1. Ranger Suarez got through 6 innings, allowing just that 1 run, the home run to Merrill. Matt Waldron also had allowed just the 1 run through 6 innings, the home run to Harper. So we went to the 7th inning. Padres and Phillies still tied at 1. Phillies reliever Orion Kerkering took the mound for the top of the 7th inning. Jackson Merrill was hit by a pitch. Tyler Wade hit a 2-out single. That got Merrill to third. That set things up for Luis Arraez.
1-2 to Arraez. Swung on, lined into right field and down for a base hit. Merrill has scored. Wade's on his way to third. And Luis Arraez has given the Padres the lead. An RBI single here in the 7th inning. It's 2-1.
Matt Waldron returned to the mound in the 7th and registered a 1-2-3 frame. Waldron was outstanding once again here today. 7 innings, 1 run allowed, 5 hits. He walked 2, struck out 6 on 104 pitches. Padres then rallied against Sir Anthony Dominguez in the top of the 8th inning. Jurickson Profar hit a leadoff single. Jose Azocar pinch ran. Manny Machado then reached on an infield single with 1 out. Ha-Sung Kim grounded a ball to third base. Alec Bohm booted it. Everybody was safe. It was an error on Bohm. So the bases were loaded. The Phillies went to lefty Gregory Soto to face Jackson Merrill. He popped out for out number 2. You felt like the Padres may come up empty in that 8th inning, only hanging on to a 1-run lead, but the rally was left up to Kyle Higashioka.
A 1 pitch, kind of served into shallow center field. Marsh is charging, dives forward, can't make the catch, and it gets behind him. Azocar and Machado have scored. Kim is on his way. Higashioka into third with a 3-run hit, and the Padres lead it 5-1 here in the 8th.
And it ended up being a 3-run triple for Kyle Higashioka, his first career triple. It's not like he smashed one into the gap, but if you're Higgy, you'll take it. Bases clearing triple gave the Padres a 5-1 lead. That insurance ended up being really important because Bryce Harper faced Jeremiah Estrada in the bottom of the 8th.
Harper swings, hits it in the air, deep down the right field line, hooking towards the pole. That is a fair ball and a home run. Bryce Harper's second of the day. Don't go anywhere. It's now 5-2.
So a 5-2 game. Padres still led by that score going to the bottom half of the ninth inning. Robert Suarez then came on for the ninth inning, less than 24 hours after having his first blown save of the season. But you know what? Robert Suarez did what great closers do. He hopped right back on the horse the next day, and he shut the door.
2-2, the pitch. Dahl swings. It's a slow roller to the right side. Wade has got it. Slings it to first in time. A 1-2-3. Bottom of the ninth for Robert Suarez. And the ball game is over. Padres snapped the skid at 5 games. They beat the Phillies here this afternoon 5-2. And the long flight home to San Diego tonight will be
a long flight home indeed. It will be happy. Tremendous. Well, imagine what Jesse said. Padres win it 5-2 over the Phillies on this series finale. All right, nice win for the Padres. They improved to 38-40. Phillies dropped to 49-25. Padres will head home to start a 4-game series against the Brewers tomorrow. Matt Waldron picked up the win. He was terrific. 7 strong innings, gave up just 1 run. He improves to 5-6. Orion Kirkering took the loss. He drops to 2-1. And Robert Suarez picked up his 18th save of the season. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. And during this commercial break, Padres fans, I want you to ponder something because I've seen it floating around on social media. Are we rolling with this Matty Nux nickname for Matt Waldron? I mean, it's kind of catchy. I got to admit, Matty Nux for the knuckleball. What do you think? Is that something we're going to roll with here in 2024 and moving forward? Look, I think Matt's earned the nickname, right? He's been that good. He's been that good. So let me know. Comment, tweet, Instagram, DM me. I'm curious. Are we rolling with that? Matty Nux for Matt Waldron. I kind of like it. Has a ring to it. Padres win it 5-2 against the Phillies. More postgame after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, Phillies 5 and the Padres 2, as the Padres salvage the finale of this three-game series. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. As we wrap this one up, still a lot to do. We'll continue to break down this game. We'll cycle through our daily awards, take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, get you ready for the series opener against Milwaukee tomorrow, and much, much more. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt in just a moment. Matt Waldron, absolutely terrific in this ball game. 7 strong innings. He was great once again. 1 run given up. It came on a solo home run to Bryce Harper. As far as the offense for the Padres, Jackson Merrill, another home run in this game. Merrill, the solo shot in the second, gave the Padres a 1-0 lead at the time. How about this? Jackson Merrill, 5 home runs in his last 7 games. He now has 8 for the season. 4 out of the 5 in the last 7 games have come against left-handers. That is really impressive for this 21-year-old rookie. It really, really is. So he continues to do some really great things. We were tied at 1. Going to the 7th inning, Luis Arraez, a 2-out RBI single, gave the Padres a 2-1 lead. And then you could argue, I think, even though it was a little flare to center that ended up being a bases-clearing triple off the bat of Kyle Higashioka, the bases clearing triple in the 8th inning to go from a 2-1 Padre lead to a 5-1 lead, that was huge because in the bottom half of the 8th, Bryce Harper hits his second solo home run of the day and makes it 5-2. Padres don't get the extra runs in that 8th inning. We might still be playing. Okay, it's a 2-2 game, so that was really big, and then the bullpen did a nice job. Estrada gave up the home run to Harper, but Robert Suarez doing what a great closer does after a blown save less than 24 hours after, hopped right back on the mound, and wouldn't you know it, Suarez puts together a 1-2-3 inning to pick up his 18th save of the season. So a nice win for the Padres as they win the final game of this series and this road trip. Let's go back to Philadelphia. Here's some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
I was gonna say, just how nice after a tough couple of days to have a game like this one.
Really nice, especially the rebound. It's nice for a lot of reasons. I mean, clearly, we haven't been able to shake hands as much as we like on this road trip. Then last night, scratch and claw and good back and forth ball game, grab a lead, and they got a good club. Clearly, maybe the best club in baseball. And they came back and we had a quick turnaround after a tough one last night. And I just loved the fact from the very first at bat. I mean, of course they go out and make a nice play in center, but Louis, boom, it's a rope to center, and guys are taking good at bats all over the park, and you just know they're going to fight. And that's got asked the other day about, my confidence level in this club, and it's high because of the character of the club and the way they compete. So, but that being said, it's a result league, and today we were able to figure out a way to be consistent and get the results at the very end of the game.
Where would you be without Matt Waldron?
I shudder to think. I prefer not to. Good for him, man. He's turning into a guy that, ultimately we need 5 aces. But right now he's been a guy that has shut down the other club. And for him to go out today and navigate that lineup and then get shorter for the 4th time and give up just one run, it's pretty darn impressive. He's done a nice job, and Higgy does his part with him, but they've done a nice job together, and he's been tremendous for us.
How big can an outing like this be for a young guy against that kind of team, facing a sweep, facing a winless road trip, facing off against one of the best pitchers in the league, and to go out there and give that kind of performance?
Yeah, I don't think it does anything but build confidence. And we, for me that has the privilege of being around the club and others, we start to see this growth of, hey, I got this and I'm taking the next step. And today, like you said, for all the right reasons that you elicited or shared, but, in a road trip, hadn't sniffed a game, goes out, knows what it means, good club, and went out and set the tone early on. It shut down innings and just did a tremendous job and didn't give in. So it was big for him, big for us.
Jackson has shouldered a pretty big load this year, especially for a young kid. Just what's been so impressive about him?
Yeah, you know what? Where do I start and where do I go from there? He's just been impressive across the board. Another huge swing, gamer, winner, ball player, all the great adjectives that, you want to throw on guys that typically it takes a while to figure out. And this guy's already gotten those monikers rightfully from the very beginning and continues to earn them. You know, he's just a baller. You know, that's probably the best compliment I can give him. He's showing up regardless of circumstance and just looking to contribute. And his skill set is really special.
1-5 is obviously not the way you wanted the road trip to go, but what does it do for your club to win this one heading home?
It's huge. I mean, you know, like I said, this it had been disappointing. It could have been easy to show up today and be like, you know what, let's just lick our wounds and go home. Let's just get back to San Diego, and it's not our trip, and let's just figure out how we do this when we get back. And this club had none of that in them. Zero. It's not part of the club's DNA, which you absolutely love. And, you know, like I said, it was a hard-fought series. The first game got away from us last night. Could have gone either way clearly. Tonight we were able to get them, so we easily won 2 out of 3. And it just speaks to the commitment of this club. Now we just got to use the C word, more consistent.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, appreciate it.
That was Padres. That was Padres manager Mike Shildt. After this game, Padres win it by a final score of 5-2 against the Philadelphia Phillies. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. A lot of good stuff in this game. Matt Waldron, brilliant, 7 innings. We'll talk more about that when we come back. We'll also tell you about what the Padres did well offensively in this game, and we'll work you in as well. If you want to get involved on our post-game coverage, you can do that in a number of different ways. You can call us 833-288-0973. Again, the phone number 833-288-0973. The phone number to call if you want to get involved that way. If you want to tweet at me, you can at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. Instagram DM's open as well. Sammy Lev there too, SAMMYLEV. Let me know what you thought about this game. May read your tweet or your DM live here on the air. And if you want to get involved on our video streams, comment there. May just address some of those comments coming up a little bit later. Final score, Padres 5, Phillies 2. More post-game coverage after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here today, the Padres 5 and the Phillies 2 as the Padres salvage the finale of this 3-game series and 6-game road trip. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. Still a lot to do. We'll have the full out-of-town scoreboard, start talking about our daily awards in just a moment. If you want to get a phone call in, you can, 833-288-0973. The phone number to call, as always, here on our Padres post-game coverage. I was just scrolling on my Instagram during the break. A shout-out to anybody on the way, or maybe at this point on the way back, I'm not sure what the timing was today, but who was at the Ben & Woods Open today, the annual golf event, tournament, third annual golf event. Is it a tournament? Golf event that Ben & Woods put on along with Paul Reindl, of course, the executive producer of the program. And the video I actually saw, it was Paul on Instagram, and he was showing off the heckle hole. I think, they have some different holes there on the golf course, and one of them is the heckle hole. So, look, I don't play golf. I'm going to tell you right now, I've never played a round of golf in my entire life. No joke. Have never played a round of golf in my entire life. I've played mini golf. I've been to Top Golf, but not a round of golf in my entire life. I do know that one of the key rules of golf, you don't talk in the backswing, right? You don't talk as somebody is playing. But the heckle hole, as I saw on Instagram, that means anybody can say anything as you're stepping up to the tee box and in the midst of your swing. So it looks like a fun time. Shout out to anybody that is at the Ben & Woods Open. Who knows? Maybe they've got our post-game coverage on somewhere. Wishful thinking. Who knows? Everybody having a good time. So hope everybody had a nice time at the Ben & Woods Open. And if you're still there on the way there, hope you have a fun time. Padres win it here today, 5-2 over the Phillies. Let's tell you about our relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher was able to come in and slam the door shut? It's time for the relief pitcher of the game in support of the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, providing food assistance to local children, families, and seniors in need. To get help or give help, visit SanDiegoFoodBank.org.
2-2, the pitch. Dahl swings. It's a slow roller to the right side. Wade has got it. Slings it to first in time. A 1-2-3. Bottom of the ninth for Robert Suarez. And the ball game is over.
Robert Suarez, our relief pitcher of the game here today. The 1-2-3 ninth inning. Like I said earlier, did what a great closer does. Hopped right back on the horse less than 24 hours after blowing his first save of the season. In fact, that was the first time this season the Padres lost a game that Robert Suarez appeared in. Got right back out there, 1-2-3 ninth inning, so hopefully that gets Robert Suarez back on track. And for that, his 18th save of the season, he is our relief pitcher of the game as the Padres win it 5-2. Let's tell you about our player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
2-2 to Schwarber. Waldron deals, and a swing and a miss. Strike three. Matt Waldron, a 1-2-3 seventh inning. His sixth strikeout of the day, and we'll head to the eighth in Philadelphia.
Our player of the game, no doubt about it, here today, Matt Waldron, who continues to be terrific. 7 brilliant innings, gave up 1 run, came on the solo shot to Bryce Harper. And he was just excellent once again. And you consider him doing it on the road, a hot afternoon in Philadelphia against that powerful Phillies lineup. It is awfully impressive. You look at what Matt Waldron has done, his last 8 starts. This is going back to May 11th. 1.82 ERA, 49 innings and a third. He's allowed just 32 hits, struck out 47, walked 12, an 0.89 whip. 184 opponent batting average. You just go by the starts, especially the last 5. Let's do the last 5. 7 scoreless innings against the Marlins. 6 innings and a third, 1 run given up against the Angels. 6 innings, 1 run given up against Arizona. 7 innings, 2 runs given up against the Mets to start this road trip, and the 7 innings, 1 run here today. And you talk about the start of the 8-start stretch we're talking about. 5 innings and a third, 2 runs given up against the Dodgers. 5 2/3 innings, 1 run given up against the Braves. This has become, Matt Waldron, one of the real great stories for the Padres this season. I mean, I know Jurickson Profar has been an outstanding story for the Padres, no doubt. That's probably the number one positive story for this team in 2024 to this point. When you just, I guess saying positive is too broad. I guess maybe just unexpected, right? Maybe unexpected is the better word. I don't know that any of us could have predicted that Jurickson Profar entering today would have the highest on-base percentage and batting average in the major leagues. I mean, who would have predicted that here on June 19th? You just would not have predicted that. But Matt Waldron is right there. When you talk about, again, I don't want to sound like this is a knock on Matt Waldron, but look, you came into spring training not really knowing if Matt Waldron, let's be honest, would make this team. He was in a battle for the final rotation spot out of spring training. He got it. He got off to a so-so start where he had trouble early in games but would kind of settle in. He had a really, really rough start before this 8-game stretch. He had that start against Arizona where he gave up 8 runs in 3 innings. And at that time, I think some of us may have wondered how much longer Matt Waldron might last in the rotation before the Padres went in a different direction in his spot. But from that start in Arizona on May 5th, where he gave up the 8 runs in 3 innings, something has started to click in a major way for Matt Waldron. And I think that's what is so fun to me about Matt Waldron and what he continues to do. You can sense by watching him and by talking to him that he is learning as he goes, that he is growing as a pitcher, that he is utilizing that knuckleball, learning how to utilize it in different ways. He is coming into his own as a major leaguer and as a knuckleballer. We've done a lot of talking about it, whether it's with Waldron, whether it was Tom Candiotti on the pregame a couple of weeks ago, talking to him about it, who had a long, successful career as a knuckleballer in the major leagues and has been a mentor to Matt Waldron. He is coming into his own, and I don't think it's an anomaly. I think this is real with Matt Waldron. I'm not saying he's going to have a sub-2 ERA the rest of the year. That might be unrealistic, but I'm starting to really, really, really believe, maybe more than starting to, but really believe the Padres have something here in Matt Waldron. And I say that for 2 reasons. Number 1, he's figuring it out and the numbers show it. And number 2, he has sort of this wild card in the knuckleball. And he's somebody who is learning how to use it and learning who he is as a major league pitcher. And we're seeing it in real time, start by start. I think the Padres really have something here. I do. I don't think it is just a flash in the pan, if you will. I think the Padres really may have something here in Matt Waldron. You look at his pitch mix today, and we always keep an eye on this with Waldron, how he uses the knuckleball. And that usage was a little bit higher than where he's been season average. Again, we've seen him use it as much as 55% in an outing this year. He's also lived in the 30s recently with it. Today it was 46%. But the thing that stood out, and this is the big one for Matt Waldron, when he is landing it early and getting ahead with it early, it's a big difference maker. It's a huge difference maker. He's talked about it, and if you watch him, you can see it. When he lands it for strikes early in a game and early in counts, he's usually in a pretty good spot because it puts hitters on their heels. They have to consider that knuckleball if he's landing it early. They have to. And it's no coincidence that as he continues to refine it, as he continues to land it, the results are there. So, look, I'm really intrigued by Matt Waldron. I think it's a great story. It's a great developmental story for Padres pitching, and we'll see what the rest of the year holds. I don't know that he's going to be as good as having a sub-2 ERA that he's had in his last 8 starts. That's probably unrealistic, but It's been a lot of fun to watch this guy grow and learn. It really has. And today, on a day, and I said this in the opening segment, on a day where the Padres desperately needed a big-time start, Matt Waldron stepped forward today, and quite frankly, and I don't mean to get too crazy here throwing out words, but today, Matt Waldron acted like an ace. Bottom line, today Matt Waldron acted like an ace. The Padres were in the midst of a 5-game losing skid on the road in Philadelphia against a great Phillies lineup, and Matt Waldron, who has pitched like an ace lately, he stepped up and he looked like an ace here today in Philadelphia. As simple as that. When we come back on our post-game show, we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll also have our play of the game, wrap things up, get ready for tomorrow as the Padres return home. Much more to do. Final score, Padres 5, Phillies 2. More post-game after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. Padres win it 5-2 against the Philadelphia Phillies as the Padres salvage the finale of this 3-game series and this 6-game road trip. We'll have our play of the game coming up in just a moment. First, let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We have a handful of finals already in the major leagues today. Marlins beat the Cardinals 4-3 in Miami. Marlins walked it off for a second consecutive game. They walked it off on an Otto Lopez base hit to walk it off against the Cardinals. Second straight walk-off, like we said, for the Fish. Other finals today. Pirates beat the Reds 1-0 in Pittsburgh. Brian Reynolds, a home run in the 8th inning in that game to propel the Pirates over Cincinnati. Braves blanked the Tigers 7-0 in Atlanta. Sean Murphy, a couple of home runs in that game for the Braves. Game's going on right now, two of them. Giants trailing the Cubs 6-1 at Wrigley in the 8th inning. Diamondbacks and the Nationals are scoreless in the 3rd in D.C. Games yet to begin, all coming up a little bit later. Mariners in Cleveland against the Guardians at 3:40. Ryan Wu on the mound for Seattle. Tanner Bybee on the mound for Cleveland. Orioles and the Yankees at 4:05 in the Bronx. It'll be the season debut of Garrett Cole, who started the year on the IL. He will make his 2024 debut on the mound against the Orioles. It's a budding rivalry there between the O's and the Yankees in the American League East. Red Sox and the Blue Jays in Toronto at 4:07. Rays and the Twins in Minnesota at 4:40. Mets and the Rangers at 5:05 in Arlington. Astros and the White Sox in Chicago at 5:10. Dodgers and the Rockies in Colorado at 5:40. Brewers and the Angels in Anaheim at 6:38. And the Royals and the A's in Oakland at 6:40. That's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Wednesday. All right, let's quickly just squeeze in a couple of phone calls here before we go. 833-288-0973, the phone number to call. Can we take the phone calls? I see him here on the board. I'm communicating with our studio coordinator, Frank. Well, let me ask you this, Frank. Can you put him up if I press the button here? Okay, well, let's try it. Why not? All right, let's go. That's weird that you don't see it. We're going to try it. If we don't hear our callers, so be it. Let's go to Rudy calling in from Lake Elsinore. Hi, Rudy. How you doing?
I'm good, Sam. I was just going to ask you, what was that call on Shildt and Profar? What did you think of that?
Yeah, Rudy, you're breaking up a little bit. I think I heard your question, and I actually got an Instagram DM about it, too. What it was on Jurickson Profar, and I can't remember if this was Profar's at bat in the 8th or the 6th inning. I can't quite remember in my head. But there was an automatic strike called on Profar at the start of his at bat. And it was an automatic strike because Profar was not in the box and ready at 8 seconds. And what I believe Mike Shildt and Jurickson Profar were arguing was that the pitcher, and again, I can't remember if this was Dominguez or Suarez on the mound. It was one of them, because I can't remember if this was the 6th or the 8th inning at bat. They were arguing that even though Jurickson wasn't in the box, they were arguing that, hey, the pitcher's not even on the mound yet. Why do I got to be in the box? And he was called for a violation. I believe the rule is that it doesn't matter what the pitcher does. And this is where it sounds a little crazy, because if you're the hitter and the pitcher's not even like nearly ready on the mound, well, you know, naturally it's like, well, I'm not going to be ready to swing in the batter's box. But the rule is that when the pitch clock gets down to 8 seconds, the batter has to be in a position ready to hit. They have to be anticipating the pitch. So, you know, in whatever the technical term is, they have to be ready to hit. You got to be looking at the pitcher, engaged, and ready to go. And Jurickson was not, and he was called for an automatic strike. So that seemed to be the issue, was that he was not in that position at 8 seconds, and they were arguing Profar and then Mike Shildt, and this is where the confusion was. Well, the pitcher's not even like on the mound ready to go. Look, I agree with Mike and Jurickson. It's just it's the way the rule's written. But yeah, it's silliness, right? I mean, you almost feel like, hey, if the pitcher's not on the mound ready to go, should you have to be ready at 8 seconds? Like, naturally, I would say no, but the rule's the rule, and he was called for an automatic strike. So that appeared to me to be the situation there. Let's go to Ryan calling in from San Diego. Hi, Ryan. You're on the Padres postgame show.
Hey, Sam. Thank you for taking my call again.
You got it. I know you're a regular now, Ryan. You're a regular. That's good.
Thank you. But yeah, Matt Waldron was incredible again. He has become, I believe, like the Padres' new ace, especially with, you know, Dylan Cease struggling a little bit and Darvish and Musgrove on the IL. Waldron has definitely taken a huge step forward when the Padres need him to take that big step.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For sure, Ryan, good call. Look, I said it earlier. I'm going to hold off on throwing the ace term around. What I said earlier, to be clear, I didn't say that Matt Waldron's an ace. He's got to do it for quite a bit longer for me to, put that moniker on him. But with that said, what I think is definitely true today, Matt Waldron acted like an ace on a day where the Padres needed a big-time start, on a day where the Padres were trying to desperately snap a losing skid, where their starting pitching lately has not been great and has not gone deep. Matt Waldron acted like an ace today. He does what he's doing for the rest of the year, something crazy like that. Yeah, we're going to end this season being like, oh my goodness, the Padres have like something special in Matt Waldron, and it's kind of come out of nowhere. You hope that's the situation. He's been awesome. Let's see how he continues, right? But there's no doubt, as of late, he's acted like an ace. And today, just from the situation where the Padres were entering this ball game, he acted like an ace here today. And I don't think it is a crazy thought to say that Matt Waldron right now may be this team's best starting pitcher for the first half of the year. If you wanted to hand an award out to this team's best starting pitcher in the first half of the season to this point, you can definitely make an argument for Matt Waldron. Now, Dylan Cease had a really, really good first handful of starts. Okay, he was great. It's been rockier as of late. Michael King, it was a little rocky early on. Michael King's been very good. And, you look at King's ERA, if you just want to go by ERA, King's ERA is on the year 3.49 now. Waldron's is at 3.46. So 3.46 to 3.49. I think Cease has a higher ERA than both, right? Yeah, 3.95. Look, you want to go by ERA and you just want to use that metric? Matt Waldron's got the lowest ERA of those three between Cease and King by just a bit. But look, there's not an official award for who's been this team's best starting pitcher. But in this moment right now, with the way he continues to deliver, I feel like you have a lot of confidence every time this guy makes a start right now. And it's a great feeling, and it's great for Matt Waldron. And I kind of already did my Waldron soliloquy in the last segment, so go back and listen to it if you missed it. But he acted like an ace today. And right now, it's a really, really fun and important developmental story for the Padres in the way this guy continues to develop, continues to grow, and continues to have success. But of course, Matt Waldron, just part of the story in this game. The Padres had a few big offensive moments. Let's hear our play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
One pitch kind of served into shallow center field. Marsh is charging, dives forward, can't make the catch, and it gets behind him. Zokar and Machado have scored. Kim is on his way. Higashioka into third with a 3-run hit, and the Padres lead it 5-1 here in the 8th.
Kyle Higashioka, a little flare into center. Brandon Marsh sliding for it, couldn't corral it. Rolled behind him, turns into Kyle Higashioka's first triple in his major league career. It drives in 3 runs, and it gave the Padres a 5-2 lead. 5-1 lead. And the reason we picked that for play of the game instead of the Merrill home run, instead of the Arise base hit, which gave the Padres their lead, big-time swing from Luis Arise in that 7th inning. The reason we picked the Higashioka hit, really 2 reasons. Number 1, it drove in 3 runs. But number 2, let's live in a world where Kyle strikes out there, and it's a 2-1 lead going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, Bryce Harper hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 8th inning against Estrada. If the Padres don't get the insurance there, it's a tie game at 2-2. Who knows what happens in this game late if Higashioka doesn't put the ball in play, and sometimes all you got to do is put the ball in play, a little flare to center, got down. Padres got lucky. They took advantage in that 8th inning of the error by Bohm. That set up the inning. Hey, shout out to Manny Machado hustling down the line, beat out a ground ball to third base in that 8th inning. That set up the rally. The hit by Profar to lead off that inning. All those little moments, the Manny getting down the line, Profar, the leadoff hit, the error by Bowman, all set things up for Kyle Higashioka to drive in the 3 runs. It wasn't a smash down the line or a smash into the gap, but hey, got it done, made it a 5-1 game, and the Padres go on to win it by a final score of 5-2. So, nice job by Higashioka, nice job by Arise, the 2 hits today, including the go-ahead RBI single in the 7th inning. And like we said early on, don't overlook the Jackson Merrill home run against the left-hander, arguably the best pitcher in the National League so far this season, Ranger Suarez. Hits it off him. It was his 5th home run in the last 7 games, and 4 of those have come against lefties. So we talk about development. We just talked about the growth of somebody like Matt Waldron. We continue to see the growth of somebody like Jackson Merrill, who is not just all of a sudden hitting for more power, in addition to hitting .279 in his rookie campaign at 20 and then 21 years old, but he's also getting a lot of it done against lefties. So very impressive from Jackson. We'll see if the Padres can keep things rolling into the homestand starting tomorrow at Petco Park. All right, before we get to, because I need a moment here to actually look up the pitching matchups, because we just got our probables for the Brewers. So let me look that up real quick. All right, I got those. I'll preview tomorrow's game back at Petco Park in just a moment. I do want to, just before we go here, because they've been sitting here next to me for 2 days now, so I should show you, and I need this little sheet as well to make sure I get all the details right. Show you if you're watching on the YouTube stream. If you're listening right now, I'll describe it the best I can. Okay, so tomorrow, I want to make sure I get this right. I should have this down a little bit better. Tomorrow, I believe, is the 619 Aloha shirt giveaway. I'm going to look this up, and I'm sorry, this is not going to be great radio here for a second. I should have done this during the break, but I want to make sure I get all this right, so you get the proper information, and I am going to show it if you're watching on YouTube as well. Let me make sure I got all the right information here to tell you about the giveaways the Padres have coming up here. Let me make sure. The Aloha shirt giveaway. I have it right here in front of me. Aloha, the 619 Aloha shirt. That's tomorrow, right? It's tomorrow, the 619 Aloha shirt. Why don't I see it here, though? I really want to make sure I don't get this wrong. Let's see here. The 619 Aloha shirt. I'm going to look it up. I should know this. If any of my friends from the Padres are listening right now, maybe they can text me. Hold on. Maybe Frank can help me here looking this up. I want to make sure I get this right. I really, really do. Okay, the 619 Aloha shirt. Yes, June 20th. Yes, okay. Okay, June 20th. All right, I got it. Not great radio, but bear with me here. I want to make sure. All right, so the 619 Aloha shirt is tomorrow. It's presented by Jack in the Box, and it's really cool. It features palm trees, sunglasses, and the victory bell. I'm showing it on the YouTube stream right now. Comes in 5 different sizes. Gates open 90 minutes prior to first pitch. Here it is. Should have taken it out of the wrapping here, but it's pretty cool. You can see it on the stream here. The 619 Aloha shirt. So that giveaway is tomorrow. Make sure you get it. This is really cool. I would wear this to the beach. I could see Frank in this, our studio coordinator. You like button downs like this. Okay, Frank. I'll give yours away, Frank. Okay? We'll give yours away. We'll give it to another lucky fan. But this is tomorrow, the 619 Aloha shirt. Very cool giveaway. So make sure that you show up tomorrow for that. And then also next to me, and I just feel I feel like I have to get through this because I've had these items sitting next to me the last couple of days. We have the Ha-Sung Kim bobblehead giveaway, and it's in the box here. You'll see it on YouTube. So I'll let the mystery kind of show here in the box. Really nice box, and the bobblehead inside. Also terrific. That giveaway is on Tuesday, June 25th against the Nationals. So the Ha-Sung Kim bobblehead on Tuesday, and we've got the 619 Aloha shirt giveaway tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. This is a really cool shirt. I'll be wearing this to the beach later this summer. Catch me in PB, OB, out in my 619 Aloha shirt. And if you want to see what it looks like, I'm holding it up to my camera here. If you want to see what it looks like, you can go to our YouTube stream when we're done. Go to the end of our show. It's where I'm showing it off. And, of course, go to Padres.com. You find out all the information about the Ha-Sung Kim bobblehead, the 619 Aloha shirt they're giving away tomorrow. And be sure to check all that stuff out on Padres.com. All the information on all the great giveaways coming up in this homestand and throughout the rest of this 2024 season. All right, taking a look ahead to tomorrow's game, the ball game, the pitching matchup tomorrow. Right-hander Bryce Wilson on the mound for the Brewers tomorrow as Milwaukee comes to town for the start of a 4-game series. The young right-hander Adam Mazur on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. First pitch tomorrow at 6:40 p.m. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will begin at 5:40 from inside the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Certainly hope you can join us at 5:40 tomorrow. And if you're at the ball game tomorrow, feel free to come say hi wearing your 619 Aloha shirt. You show up tomorrow wearing your 619 Aloha shirt, you'll be the best listener of the day. See you tomorrow at Petco Park. As always, if you want to tune in to any of our post-game coverage, if you missed any of it, you can do that by finding the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also go to YouTube and go to the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel where you can watch any or all of our post-game coverage. Taking a final look at the final totals here today for the San Diego Padres. 5 runs, 12 hits, no errors. They left on 9. For the Philadelphia Phillies, 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. They left on 6. Winning pitcher in this game, Matt Waldron. He was terrific today, improves to 5-6 on the year. Losing pitcher, Orion Kirkering, who drops to 2-1. The save goes to Robert Suarez, his 18th of the season. Time of game on this Wednesday in Philadelphia, 2 hours and 37 minutes, and the crowd at Citizens Bank Park, 44,445. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 6:40. Pregame coverage begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long from our San Diego studios. Again, the final score here today, the San Diego Padres 5 and the Philadelphia Phillies 2. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network.